Welcome. Today I'll be summarizing and sharing on the October 9th readings in A Little Time for Myself, Encouraged to Change. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I'll begin with A Little Time for Myself, October 9th. I'll take a moment to read it to myself silently. This page is about the 3 C's. I cannot cause alcoholism or substance abuse. I cannot control it, and I cannot cure it. The person who wrote this passage says that they did everything they could to keep their loved one sober out of jail and out of the hospital, but they ended up being hospitalized themselves because it made them sick. One of the greatest things that I learned, as soon as I walked in the door, I learned that I did not cause my son's substance abuse, which was amazing because I was under the impression that I had somehow failed as a parent, and that's why this was happening. The question of the day is, how does understanding alcoholism as a disease help me practice loving detachment today? We are not responsible for another person's disease or recovering from it. The best thing that I can do is focus on my own recovery. So how does understanding alcoholism as a disease help me practice loving detachment? Understanding and accepting that the fact that substance abuse is a disease, and the only person who can manage it is the person who is suffering from it. What I can do is love and accept reality as it is, and just love the person, separating the disease from the person, just love the person as a human being. I was going to say it's easier said than done, but it wasn't hard for me to love my son. In his worst of times, it wasn't hard for me to love him. I always loved him. The difference was that I felt no shame. It wasn't a thinking, oh my God, I did this to you, but I don't know how I did this to you. It was more of a, once I was in Al-Anon, it was more of a, I love you no matter what. I am here to support you in taking care of yourself. I had boundaries. So, how does understanding alcoholism as a disease help you practice loving detachment today? Yeah, it's got to have that loving part for me. For me to detach, it's got to have the love. We'll move on to Courage to Change now, October 9th. Just take a moment. Oh, there's a tab and a highlighted section. This page is about working with my higher power and realizing what I have control over and what I don't. The part that I highlighted is a quote from One Day at a Time in Al-Anon. The first step prepares us for a new life, which we can achieve only by letting go of what we cannot control, and by undertaking one day at a time the monumental task of setting our world in order through a change in our own thinking. The other parts that I love of this page are, I finally realized that surrender does not mean submission. It just means that I'm accepting reality as it is at this time. And it's okay to recognize that I'm not in control. And it is helpful to recognize that the world is in good hands. That helps to give me serenity. That's why believing in a higher power is so important, because I do everything that I can, but whatever I can't do, I can give to my higher power and trust that it is as it should be. We'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.